All right, guys, check it out. We are in a pretty tough spot. If the sound still sounds the same,
yeah, can you guys even hear us?
let me know. If it still sounds bad, then here's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to send you guys a brand new stream.
Yes, and come back in maybe 15 minutes.
So jump in the chat box.
Minutes?
Jump in the chat box and let us know if you can hear.
Can you hear us? Woo,
Oh, cool.
Sounds good.
All right, good. We're back.
Woo!
Back in business. So here's the deal with this.
Back in the building.
Here's the deal with the way this stuff works here, guys. So we are blindsided. When this stuff happens, then I usually have to try to figure out what's going on without being able to hear the audio. All right, so I have to fix it with literally no reference. So I did hear, based on our delay, because we always have a monitor that's running off to the left, I was like, when I took it back to the page that says stream starting soon, I was able to hear just a little bit. Sounds stupid, robotic, and so anyway, guys, that is the kind of stuff that happens here in this live space. But it is what it is. Wendy Wynn joined us in the process of the bullshit. She's here in the building, y'all. So look here. Let's go on ahead and get the show started. Jump in, okay? Money Mike says we good. Hey, Money Mike, you know why we came back to YouTube? Just for you. Check this out. Hey, tell them what you said, Wynn. Hey, check it out. Last week, Money Mike jumped into the chat box on our own platform, and he said, "I don't think I like this new shit."
Yeah.
And Wendy Wynn, I said, Wendy, come in here and look what Money Mike said. Money Mike is family, y'all. He like our day one, so we can let him have it. You understand? What'd you say?
So I said, we ain't asked Money Mike what he like.
Get used to it. It's time to adapt. You know what I'm saying? See, Money Mike is family. He'd have been here ever since. He's a day one. He's a day one. So you know, at the end of the day, we gotta let Money Mike have it. You know what I'm saying? But look, Money Mike was here.
No, we appreciate the feedback.
We do. Money Mike let us know the sound was bad. We got some people in the building. Stephen Barry was here, and I know you got to get to bed, dude. Come on, man. You hanging out with us.
Harlem, LW.
Yeah, we got some new people in the building tonight. That's
Mariah
great.
Colbert.
That is great. Mariah's in the building. She let us know the sound was bad.
O'Gorman.
So look, y'all, we appreciate y'all at least hanging out. I asked a couple of people. Scroll down a little bit. I asked a couple of people to hang on, and you guys said, okay, cool. So we appreciate that.
Yes.
Hope you guys
hang out, man. Hang out with us, man.
The building. We lost quite a few people, but that ain't no problem, you guys. I am a digital marketer. I will get them back. It's no big freaking deal. All my focus was to be sure that we got the sound working, and we got Wendy Wynn here, and we can go ahead and get this show started, because man, we got some real super duper cool stuff. What I was saying, because I know the sound was all weird. Let me talk to you guys just for a second and let you know what we got in store for you guys tonight. The second half of our show is going to be pretty freaking controversial, okay? Because we're going to take you guys back to something that happened right around about 1991 that changed the hip hop game forever in a very negative way. We're going to talk about that, and we want you guys to jump in chat tonight and give us your opinion. In fact, we think that what we're going to do tonight is we think that we are going to do two segments, two parts. We think we're going to come back next week and do a continuum so that you guys can jump in and tell us what you think about this. The first half of the show, we are totally dedicating to Futrell, because they was in the building. They came in. Now, listen,
man, these little young dudes so talented. I cannot wait for y'all to see them.
Unbelievable. Check this out. From St. Louis, but currently living. And St. Louis ain't too far from us. From St. Louis, but currently living out in L.A. Flew into town. Did they thing? Did they not?
Man, they killed it.
They killed their thing, man.
Them boys been working hard, and the boys are professional.
That's right.
Okay, I big ups to them.
That's right. So guys, so let's go ahead and get the party started. You hanging out with your boy Griffy Griff now that the sound is right. Okay, you hanging out with your boy Griffy Griff, the beautiful Miss Wendy Wynn and Wendy Wynn. Let them know what they are watching.
You guys are watching the weekly call.
You know it, baby.
Foxtrot, this is Hitman 2 Actual. You are approved to engage in 5 mics.
The Weekly Call, Entertainment News Podcast.
All right, y'all. Finally, we can get.
Yeah,
Hey, y'all know,
let's get this party
people who know us
started.
know that we generally do not have a lot of technical problems. Okay.
Yeah.
We
had had a couple, but.
Well,
usually,
I mean,
man, we right on point.
Yeah, we cool. And you know, hey, y'all, we live. Y'all remember something about this. We are live. Most people who do podcasts do not do live podcasts.
Pre-recorded.
So when you are live, y'all, you know, anything can pop up. But guess what? We got some day ones with us that hung out with us, and we highly appreciate it.
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and get the party
that.
started because I think we lost about 10 or 12 minutes of time just dealing with that whole entire thing.
Yeah.
So let's get cranking. Hey, Money Mike said, what'd he say?
Hey,
What'd he
Money
say?
Mike said, watch your mouth,
You know
Wendy.
what I'm saying? Watch your mouth, Wendy. Win.
I
Hey,
got
look
you.
here.
I got you, Money
Hey, I'm about
Mike.
to tell you something, Money. She had me cracking up when she said that shit, bro. Okay, I mean, I was dying, bro.
I'm just saying, get with it.
Yeah, hey, Money Mike, I'm gonna let you know something, bro. So here's the deal. So for all of you guys, there may be nights that we may be doing this on our platform because some of the stuff that we have on our platform
Support that.
is not going to be satisfactory to YouTube standards. So here is the deal, and let me say this to everybody very, very quickly. What we do on the platform will be uploaded to YouTube, just like the episode that you guys saw on our platform last week. It is now on YouTube. But what we have to do is whatever those guidelines are that YouTube doesn't want, what we have to do is we'll have to do that show on the platform. We'll have to.
I still haven't figured that out.
We'll have to edit out those guidelines and then repost them to YouTube. So the thing is, here's the deal: you can always catch the show on YouTube, but we would rather you join us live on the platform. Money Mike, damn, what was the problem? You have to
That's all we trying to say,
sign in the chat, dude. Come on, dude.
Man, this ain't rocket science, y'all.
Money Mike, you know what it is. But we gotta have Money Mike in the building with us one day. We gotta invite Money Mike to be on the show with us.
It's all love. Much love to you, Money Mike.
So let's get to it, man, because boy, did we have 4 talented dudes that flew into our hometown and set it on fire. Did they not?
Yeah, man. It was beautiful. And they are pretty much kind of managed by their dad. It was just a beautiful thing.
Right.
I was really
Who looks
excited.
just as young as they do.
Yeah, we thought he was part of the group.
Right. Because I'm
man.
like, what is this dude? Well, he must be on the sick list for the day or something.
Yeah,
he ain't up there dancing.
Right.
And Wendy was like, no, that's their dad.
That's definitely their father.
Okay, dude is looking like he 20 years old.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm
he
saying?
Taking care of them boys. They keeping him young, man.
He's been holding it down with them. 4 boys is a hard thing to take, and he's got them on the right track. The guys are talented, very super cool guys. Very proud of these guys, and we had a great time with them. So, guys, here's what we're gonna do. Yeah, we're gonna give you a performance. We're gonna give you a little bit of a performance for them. We're not giving you the whole thing, but we're gonna give you a little bit of a performance. It's about 12 to 15 minutes long, and then after the performance was over, Wendy Wynn had the pleasure of sitting down with them and interviewing them.
Yep.
So we're gonna give you that whole piece,
pretty cool,
and then we're gonna come back. We gotta give you a couple of LOL moments that I think are insanely funny, and then after that, we're gonna take it a break, and then we're gonna come back to some controversy. So, guys, without further ado, we getting ready to turn you on to the talented St. Louis's own, LA bound at the moment, Futrell. Check them out, y'all. Oh, wait a minute. I did. You know what? Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. I forgot I did a rip the wall. I did a rip the wall for him. I did a rip the wall for him, y'all. Y'all know I haven't done a rip the wall in quite a long time. Okay, so I thought tonight I was
you even forgot about the rip.
Yeah, I was like, man, I got to back it. That's how long it's been since we ripped the wall. But I figured we would rip the wall to show them before we give you the show. God, I thought we were taking them straight to the show. But these are the guys right here. Look at them. Look at them. Handsome, talented. They got the look. Now y'all getting ready to see them do their thing. Check them out, y'all.
You got that vibe, I must admit.
I'm selfish, girl, and I don't wanna share.
So throw that ass back for me. I'm with the shit.
I'll be the one that set them fire to your flame.
Oh yeah, I got juice, no Kool-Aid, ha. I never miss like Olay, yo. I hit the booth, go insane, yo. I'm always lit, no the flame, ayy. That's on the game. Out of all these Hollywood girls, all this money, private parties, fake faces. I know you feel it in the air. Time so we got right now, don't waste it.
All I need, pop up with girl anytime. All I need, skirt in the floor, that's a love. Ferrari, I can make you mine, you the baby. my type. You all I need. From day one I knew we was more than friends. I'ma turn you into a wife on bending knee. You got my soul and girl, you know that never change.
I get the feels, I'm feeling sick. Stranger things have happened to me while I'm next to you. Look what you did, you got the kid. Feeling things that you never felt before.
Out of all these Hollywood girls, all this money, profit, all these fake faces. Girl, I know you feel it in the air. Time's all we got right now, don't waste it. All I need, pop up with girl anytime. All I need, skirt and a foreign, that's a love. Have to make you mine, you the babe. Hey, hey. All I need, pop up with your girl anytime. All I need, skirt and a foreign, that's a love. Have to make you mine, you the babe. Hey, hey. I wanna put you in the sky. Take a field trip, miss you all the time. That's some real shit, running through my mind. That's some real shit, running through my mind. Running through my
Hey, I'm sorry I missed your call. I didn't have my phone on me. But I just wanted to say that I really do like you. I really do. It's just, I don't think I'm ready or in the right space to trust someone right now. My ex, he did me dirty, you know. I don't know. I've been hurt before, so I'm just trying to be careful, you know. So I'll call you later.
I'ma love you better, 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 better. Girls like you need someone to step up. Trust me, I know, I know, I know, I know. Girls like you gotta be more careful.
I ain't on my way, take buses or a plane, forever on my brain. I ain't promise you, no matter what you do, I'll never be untrue.
Yes, he set you up. Yes, he broke your heart. Yes, he made a mess of your feelings. Left you paranoid. Yes, who can you trust? Yes, got you just giving up on everything. Girl, I'm right here. I know you feel me. Don't be afraid to look in my eyes. I see you clearly. You've been there before. I know you heard it. This time you're scared to make that move. This time it's worth it.
They want your place. They know you're special. They think you're sitting off this girl. I know you better. I got the game, but I ain't playing. Not when it comes down to you.
This could be the start of something real, I know. Love is all we got, that's true. Baby, if you looking for someone, me too. I just wanna be with you. I'ma love you better, 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 better.
Hey,
Girls like you need someone to step up.
yeah.
Trust me, I know, I know, I know, I know. Girls like you gotta be more careful. It's okay, here to stay, be my babe, yeah. It's okay, here to stay, be my babe, yeah. You trust me, I know, I know, I know, I know. Girls like you gotta be more careful.
I ain't here to stay. I promise this won't change, no matter what they say. Girl, I know what you went through. You think I'll leave you too, but this I never do. Yeah, yeah. Girl, I'm like Steph when I shoot my shot. Do you trust me or do you not? Not gonna play you, that's top tops. He a fraud and girl, I'm not. Not gonna sit unless you rock. He fucked the edge chance he got. Even though things might get hard, girl, you can count on me to try.
I shoot my shot, she never tell me to stop. You and your shots to get blocked. Do what you can, I put her under the star. She hold me down at the top. Remember I said, I'ma be all that you need. Turn your eyes to weeds, do it like Frank. She get whatever she please, she get whatever she need. Let's take a pic, I want the whole world to see that you belonging to me. Girl, I got plans, I'm trying to get on one knee. I wanna give you a ring, that's what I said. Ain't no more going away. Told you that I'm here to stay, that's what I meant. I'ma do all that I can. Listen up, baby, I'm sick. This could be the start of something real, I know. Love is all we got, that's true. Baby, if you looking for someone, me too. I just wanna be with you. I'ma love you better, 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 better. Girls like you need someone to step up. Trust me, I know, I know, I know, I know. Girls like you gotta be more careful. It's okay, here to stay, be my babe. It's okay, here to stay, be my babe. Trust me, I know, I know, I know, I know. Oh yeah, girls like you gotta be more careful.
for sure. Tired, but no, I feel better. No miss you. Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
There'll be no darkness tonight. Lady, I love will shine, lighting the night. Just put your trust in my heart and meet me in paradise. Now is the time, girl. You're every wonder in this world to me. A treasure time won't steal away. So listen to my heart, lay your body close to mine. Let me fill you with my dreams. I can make you feel alright. And baby, through the years, gonna love you more each day. So I promise you tonight, you will always be the lady in my life. Lay back in my tenderness. Let's make this a night we won't forget. Girl, I need your sweet caress. Oh, I reach out to a fantasy. Two hearts in a beat of ecstasy. Come to me, girl, and I will keep you warm through the shadows of the night. Let me touch you with my love. I can make you feel alright. Baby, through the years, even when we're old and gray, I will love you for each day. You will always be the lady in my life. Stay, baby. Stay with me. Stay, yeah. Stay, yeah. Ooh, girl, let me keep you warm. Keep you warm. Ooh, baby. Fill you with the sweetest love. Yeah. Ooh, baby. Lay back in my tenderness. Won't you lay back in it? Oh, yeah. Rock me with your sweet caress. And I'ma rock you, rock you. Whoa.
Hey everybody, so it's your girl Wendy Wynn from the Weekly Call. Y'all know me. What up? So I am sitting here with this fabulous group of young men tonight who just rocked out. Okay? So just want to ask a couple questions and get you guys up out of here. We're a little hot and bothered up in here. So yeah, where y'all from? Let's start with that. Where you guys from?
We're from St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
Originally from St. Louis, but we live in Los Angeles now.
Okay. So y'all got some of that Southern hospitality for me? All right. And again, what's the name of your group?
Futrell.
Futrell.
Futrell is the name of our group, but it's also our last name. So we all brothers, so.
How cool is that?
Let's introduce
I was gonna say, let's introduce everybody. Introduce yourself. We'll start from here and work our way down.
What's up, y'all? I'm Davon Futrell.
I'm Don Juan Futrell, I'm the oldest.
I'm D'Artagnan Futrell.
I'm Desmond Futrell. I'm the youngest.
Now your turn.
Awesome. Well, y'all know me. My name is Wendy Wynn. Okay. How did you guys get started?
Well, you want the long story or the short story? We got We got a whole book. All right, so let's laugh. So our dad had brought home like a bunch of home movies, but like all the singing groups, like the great singing groups.
Temptations.
5 Heartbeats,
Yeah, all those
Temptations.
movies, all the black movies. So we watched the Temptations. I think it was the last one we watched, right?
Yeah.
And that one kind of inspired us to just try it. Just try it out. So we started learning all the choreo from all the Temptations, like songs and all the lyrics and everything.
Yeah, I heard you guys warming up, and it was phenomenal. It gave me that straight Temptations vibe. Yeah, definitely feeling that. So how long now have you guys been singing?
I don't know. How long is it?
7 years.
7 years? Yeah, about 7 years.
7 years? It's a long time. Y'all sound great.
Thank you.
All right, and real quick, where can we find you guys on social media?
All right, so you can find us everywhere at Official Futrell. Futrell is spelled Futrell.
Awesome. Okay, and real quick, y'all want to hit some acapella real quick?
Of course. Let's do this.
All right, rock out, y'all.
You mind if I get that mic? Thank you so much.
You ready?
Let's do it.
In the still of the night, I held you tight. Oh, I loved you so. Promise I'll never let you go. In the still of the night, the still of the night.
Hey, okay, I'm feeling like a pretty lucky girl right now. No, thank you guys so much. It was really nice meeting you guys, and y'all keep doing what y'all doing.
Thank you.
All right?
But one more thing before we go. Just so you know, Lady My Life is out now on all platforms. Our newest single. So make sure you go stream the numbers on that. You know, music video up now on YouTube too. So
Yeah, check these guys out, y'all.
Thank you for having us, though.
For sure. Our pleasure.
thank you.
All right, y'all.
Man.
Come on, baby.
That was so much fun.
Man, it was a fun night.
That was fun.
And you know what was funny is that you were constantly saying how professional they were. They
Yes.
were professional, and they came and did their thing, and they rocked
For them
it
to be
out.
so young, I think the youngest is like 17.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say 16 or 17. And then the oldest one was 21.
Okay.
You know, it's rare that you meet, you know, young artists like that are just so on point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You could tell like they dad ain't playing with them.
No.
Like they on point.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
So once again, shout out to Futrell. We appreciate you guys for coming out and
Yeah, shout
rocking
out to
with us.
Futrell.
Come on, they did their thing.
Yeah, man.
And we expect to do something else with y'all. We're going to be giving y'all a call because Wendy and I are getting ready to do something at the end of this month, and we were like, man, we got to have them.
Yes.
We got to have them. So you
I
guys,
can't wait.
You guys may have to come back into town one more time.
One more again.
Just for this one specific thing that we can't
Oh,
talk
man, it's
about
gonna be so
because we're
fun.
gonna launch that at the end of October for everybody to see. So super cool stuff. Look, we don't have a lot of time. Obviously, we've gone way beyond our time, and we ain't even got to the second half of the show. So
gotta keep it moving.
let's just keep this thing freaking moving. Now listen, LOL moments. All right, we got to give you some. I mean, it's just we got to give you a few LOL moments here, okay? What we're gonna do is we're gonna take you to these LOL moments. Then we're gonna take you to break, and then when we come back, we are gonna talk about something that I think everybody really needs to be zoomed in on because they need to be aware. There is a freaking agenda, and we need to discuss that agenda. So
Yes.
let's check out real quick. Let me see if I can go and grab it. I gotta go and grab this thing. Boom, bam.
Grab that thing.
And here it is. These parents and grandparents are reacting to Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion song WAP. Check it out, y'all. We'll be right back.
WAP. WAP. So ask.
What's her name?
Cardi B.
No.
Oh, just say hey Google.
Hey Google, play WAP by Cardi B.
All right, here's Cardi B on Spotify.
I said certified free. Wow, the week. Wet ass pussy. Make that pillow get weak. Yeah, you fucking with some wet ass pussy. Fill a bucket in a mouth with this wet ass pussy. I said certified free. 7 days a week. Wet ass pussy. Make that pillow get
I'm not gonna watch this. The devil is a liar. You don't need to see it.
I told you I saw a WAP.
I didn't know what a WAP was. You know WAP.
Some hoes. No, it is the WAP.
Yeah, that's the WAP.
There's some hoes in this house.
That ain't cute.
Some hoes in this house.
I'm not laughing.
Girl, I'm grown. I'm
No,
52.
you're not.
I'll be 53 next year, next month, next week.
Nigga, you'll be 53 next week. No, you won't. How old are you?
There's some hoes in this house.
Go away, Kennedy.
You better say this.
A WAP?
Oh my gosh, I shouldn't be out
What the heck is a WAP?
Walk away, Fallon. She said it in.
Put this pussy right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card.
Oh
no. I wanna die. I do a geek.
Ew.
Spit in my mouth. Look in my eyes. Pussy is wet. The dangly thing that's swinging the back of my throat. My head is viable. I need this sign. It's going to try. It's coming outside. Yeah, running that down. The cuz behind me. I spit on somebody. I hate trying to sign me.
This is a girl?
Yeah.
Yes.
7 days a week. Wet ass pussy. Make that pillow get weak. Yeah, you fucking with some wet ass pussy. Fill a bucket in a mouth with this wet ass pussy.
That's not true.
But let me tell you, I got this ring. Follow me, swallow me, drip down inside of me. Quick jump out, but you let it get inside of me. And ask cool is it when I ride the dick, I'ma spell my name.
Play WAP by 35. Hey, WAP.
Hey, you gotta say that.
Play WAP by Cardi B, please. Make that pillow get weak. So once you park that Big Mac truck right in this little garage, please
Follow me, drip down inside of me. Quick jump out, but you let it get inside of me. Tell them where to put it, never tell them where I'm about to be. I'm run down on them before I have a nigga running me. Talk your shit, fight your dip. Ask for a call while you ride that dick. While you really ain't never got him fucking for a thing. He already made his mind up before he came. Now get your boots, hang your coat, fuck this wet ass pussy. He bought a phone just for pics pussy.
Look, I need a hard hit, I need a deep stroke, I need a Henny drink, I need a... Oh, whoa. That was a naughty song. Very naughty. Oh, back levers.
What?
I said certified free. 7 days a week. Wet ass pussy. Make that pillow get weak.
Turn it off! Now!
Yeah, you fucking with some wet ass pussy. And I'm not with this wet ass pussy. Give me everything you got.
F it, F it.
Beat it up, nigga, catch a challenge.
You've gone too far.
Put this pussy
I'm
in
late.
your face. Credit card.
Something my soul no rap like that.
Now, who found this song? Good God, the box, she wanted him to slam it all the way up there. Uh-oh.
She gonna spell her name. She bad. Cardi B. And they'll allow them to put a song out like that. There's some whores in this house. Why they can't be no nice ladies? They want a freak. She said she a freak. Handcuff her. Lord have mercy. This world is gone to hell in a handbasket.
We sitting here live on the set, y'all, with the spin specialist.
Spin City.
Her name is Spindy. You know what I'm saying? Ow, she wear Fendi. Every time she go to Wendy's. Ow, mama. And she live up in Indy. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. But she don't know 50.
Ooh. Why not?
Senti.
But 50 say he hitty.
I think nitty.
No, he did nitty.
I think nitty.
All right, you ready?
Never is he.
Not gonna do that again. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Lower thirds getting ready to kick in now.
So, after days of backlash, he offered a public apology to.
What the hell? The world's most fearless duo in podcasting is here. Griff and Wendy Bond. Wendy, get my frappuccino!
All clear. Resume normal activities.
The Weekly Call, entertainment news podcast.
You know what I'm saying? So what you think?
Yeah, I mean, Griff, I really like it. I think we should use it for the intro.
Oh, yeah, I'm with that. Let's do it.
Awesome. Okay, and then I had a couple other cool ideas, so check this out.
Hey, can you give me 1 second? I got to take this call.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
Yo, Jeezy, what's happening, man? Yeah, everything good? Yeah, no, just in this little editing session, working on the new intro to the show. Some stuff. She's coming in via Skype. So, what's happening, man? Everything all right? No, man, I ain't doing nothing, man. Everything's good. Just trying to hold it down, man. Trying to create content, doing what we do as YouTubers, putting some stuff together for the weekly call, you know. Hey, Wendy, where the hell are my Pringles?
So, the haunted house in Florida is said to be the creepiest. What was that?
What was what?
I love you like la 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 la. I love you like la 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 la. I love you like la 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 la.
Wow, guys.
Okay, were those reactions just the best?
I mean, come on, man. No, I'm talking about the old look.
Wait.
I mean, you know, y'all don't know, but that older white grandma was the drummer who played the drums on WAP. She was the absolute drummer for the song WAP. She made the beat, and she was the original WAP that came out in the early 40s. The grandma was the one who made the beat.
That's why she was feeling it like that.
That's why she felt it like that,
what I mean? She felt that in her soul.
Come on, y'all. Listen, y'all. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Let's get into some controversial stuff. So I want to talk to you guys because Yes, this was quite a while back, but it is what is, in my opinion, is what's going on today.
Oh,
And
it's so relevant.
I feel like it's relevant right now for sure.
I'm
Because
so glad that we talked about this. It kind of got brought up because I'm like, man, this is so important for everybody to be aware of.
one of the primary forms of music that is dominating the airwaves right now is, well, rap music has always been a very influential music.
Yes.
And but trap music is dominating the airwaves at this moment, which has always been rap music's. Trap music is not new, by the way. Let's say that, okay? There's always been a level of, like, NWA would have been considered trap music during that time period.
Right.
But it was
more real street.
More street.
Yeah.
Now, the trap music that we hear today, and of course, NWA's, the NWA ended up crossing over to mainstream music. But at that time, it was considered gangster rap, whereas today it is considered trap music.
Trap.
And trap music has been around for a very, very long time. In fact, so long that it was always just considered underground music. And now it has crossed over to mainstream music. So I want to take you guys back, because here's the deal in talking about this. We are in no way here, myself or Wendy, in any way here, and we want to make this clear. It's almost like a disclaimer. We are in no way here downgrading trap music or trap artists. We just want to say that right out the gates.
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay? There's a lot of trap music that I absolutely love. So this is in no way to demean trap artists. Y'all keep doing y'all thing. That's what you do. But we do want to talk about the agenda. There's an agenda behind this that spans way far beyond trap music itself and the trap artists and the record labels alone. Okay.
Yeah.
So we want to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to come back next week, and we want to get into a little bit more of a heavier discussion about it with you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we need to figure out what's going on, because this 2020 has been a pretty rough year, and it's been a really violent year.
Yeah. It's I mean, it just raises a lot of concern.
Yeah.
For me especially, and I think for parents, raising kids in this generation, in this time, and that influence that it has on your kids. Yeah. So, we need to be educated about the roots of it, or I mean, not even so much the roots of it, but just this agenda that is behind it.
The roots of the agenda.
The roots of the agenda.
Because they're
definitely.
So let's get into this, guys. What if rap music is just a tool to turn impressionable listeners into prison-bound degenerates? Something to think about. That's what one man claiming to be a former music executive said in an anonymous letter published in the early 2000s. Talk to him when.
According to the mystery man's letter, gangster rap is a product designed to benefit private prison systems. The man writes that he went to a Los Angeles meeting in 1991 and immediately signed a confidentiality agreement. What followed shocked him and the other people at the meeting.
Now here is the full version of the letter written by the anonymous man who attended this secret meeting that changed hip-hop forever. Guys, let me say this. This is about a 10 or 11 minute audio clip. I want you guys to listen to this. This is very, very important. This is not the man himself speaking. Obviously, he needed to remain very anonymous for reasons that, I mean, obviously security reasons. He didn't want anything to happen to his family, himself, or anybody else.
But he still wanted to get that out.
Wanted to get that out. So, guys,
shout out to whoever he is.
Absolutely. And he was obviously a pretty high-ranking exec, because the only people that could attend this meeting were high-ranking music execs. So, guys, here it is. This is the full recording or the full audio recording of that letter. Check it out.
After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning point in popular music, and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making this story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for. Between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came from Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then. Since technology and media weren't accessible to people like they are today, the industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted. This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of music business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Little did I know that we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practice I've ever seen. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people being there, most of them familiar faces. Speaking to those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap music and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private gathering to discuss its future. Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be in our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign a confidentiality agreement preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued and in some cases disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long but very clear on the matter and consequences, which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but couldn't find anyone who had answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. No one stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me. A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected the agreements from us. Quickly after the meeting began, one of my industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everyone else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no further details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but it was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industry and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point I began to feel slightly uncomfortable at the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement. He explained that the companies we work for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in confusion. At the time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with us. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more money the government would pay these prisons. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employers had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remained filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by marketing music which promotes criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as employee, we'd also be able to buy personal stocks in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop. I remember looking around to make sure I wasn't dreaming and saw half of the people with dropped jaws. My daze was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this a fucking joke?" At this point things became chaotic. Two of the men who were part of the unfamiliar group grabbed the man who shouted out and attempted to remove him from the house. A few of us, myself included, tried to intervene. One of them pulled out a gun and we all backed off. They separated us from the crowd and all four of us were escorted outside. My industry colleague who had opened the meeting earlier hurried out to meet us and reminded us that we had signed agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking about this publicly or even with those who attended the meeting. I asked him why he was involved with something this corrupt and he replied that it was bigger than the music business and nothing we'd want to challenge without risking consequences. We all protested and as he walked back into the house I remember word for word the last thing he said, "It's out of my hands now. Remember you signed an agreement." He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our cars and actually watched until we drove off. A million things were going through my mind as I drove away and I eventually decided to pull over and park on a side street in order to collect my thoughts. I replayed everything in my mind repeatedly and it all seemed very surreal to me. I was angry with myself for not having taken a more active role in questioning what had been presented to us. I'd like to believe the shock of it all is what suspended my better nature. After what seemed like an eternity, I was able to calm myself enough to make it home. I didn't talk or call anyone that night. The next day back at the office, I was visibly out of it but blamed it on being under the weather. No one else in my department had been invited to the meeting and I felt a sense of guilt for not being able to share what I had witnessed. I thought about contacting the three others who were kicked out of the house but I didn't remember their names and thought that tracking them down would probably bring unwanted attention. I considered speaking out publicly at the risk of losing my job but I realized I'd probably be jeopardizing more than my job and I wasn't willing to risk anything happening to my family. I thought about those men with guns and wondered who they were. I had been told that this was bigger than the music business and all I could do was let my imagination run free. There were no answers and no one to talk to. I tried to do a little bit of research on private prisons but didn't uncover anything about the music business involvement. However, the information I did find confirmed how dangerous this prison business really was. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Eventually, it was as if the meeting had never taken place. It all seemed surreal. I became more reclusive and stopped going to any industry events unless professionally obligated to do so. On 2 occasions, I found myself attending the same function as my former colleague. Both times, our eyes met but nothing more was exchanged. As the months passed, rap music had definitely changed direction. I was never a fan of it but even I could tell the difference. Rap acts that talked about politics or harmless fun were quickly fading away as gangster rap started dominating the airwaves. Only a few months had passed since the meeting but I suspect that the ideas presented that day had been successfully implemented. It was as if the order has been given to all major label executives. The music was climbing the charts and most companies were more than happy to capitalize on it. Each one was churning out their very own gangster rap acts on an assembly line. Everyone bought into it, consumers included. Violence and drug use became a central theme in most rap music. I spoke to a few of my peers in the industry to get their opinions on the new trend but was told repeatedly that it was all about supply and demand. Sadly, many of them even expressed that the music reinforced their prejudice of minorities. I officially quit the music business in 1993 but my heart had already left months before. I broke ties with the majority of my peers and removed myself from this thing I had once loved. I took some time off, returned to Europe for a few years, settled out of state, and lived a quiet life away from the world of entertainment. As the years passed, I managed to keep my secret, fearful of sharing it with the wrong person but also a little ashamed of not having had the balls to blow the whistle. But as rap got worse, my guilt grew. Fortunately, in the late 90s, having the internet as a resource which wasn't at my disposal in the early days made it easier for me to investigate what is now labeled the prison industrial complex. Now that I have a greater understanding of how private prisons operate, things make much more sense than they ever have. I see how the criminalization of rap music played a big part in promoting racial stereotypes and misguided so many impressionable young minds into adopting these glorified criminal behaviors which often lead to incarceration. 20 years of guilt is a heavy load to carry, but the least I can do now is to share my story, hoping that fans of rap music realize how they've been used for the past 2 decades. Although I plan on remaining anonymous for obvious reasons, my goal now is to get this information out to as many people as possible. Please help me spread the word. Hopefully, others who attended the meeting back in 1991 will be inspired by this and tell their own stories. Most importantly, if only one life has been touched by my story, I pray it makes the weight of my guilt a little more tolerable.
All right, y'all.
Man, it's so sad.
It is. And you guys understand now that we ran that audio, that if you look at what's going on in the music industry today,
it's huge.
It's the agenda's still the same,
and it's working.
And it's been more long running now than it was then.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So once again, tonight, guys, we're not going to focus heavy on the discussion of it, but we just want to pre-frame you for it because we do want to talk about it next week. We'll probably have a couple of special guests on with us next week so we can go a little bit more in depth on that. Yeah.
According to hiphopforchange.com or .org, some of the biggest music companies are in cahoots with private prison owners, and they've got proof. Check this out.
Ever wonder why you see the same stereotypes of black and brown people depicted in hip-hop music? What if I told you that some of the biggest music companies are in cahoots with private prison owners, and that the rap music we listen to is not only meant to entertain, but to verbally and visually support criminal behaviors that funnel disenfranchised people into these private prisons? Lastly, what if I told you I have proof? In 2012, Core Civic, formerly known as Corrections Corporation of America, the biggest name in the private prison industry, contacted 48 states offering to buy their prisons. One requirement of eligibility for the deal was particularly strange: an assurance by the agency partner that the agency has sufficient inmate population to maintain a minimum 90% occupancy rate over the term of the contract. Wait, right? What? What kind of legal and ethical measures could be taken to ensure the maintenance of a 90% prison occupancy rate? Now let's work together to connect these things, because I'm sure you're a smart person. It won't be long. Let's do the work. In 2012, a mere 232 media executives were responsible for the intake of 277 million Americans, controlling all avenues necessary to manufacture any celebrity and spark any trend. Time Warner, as the owner of Warner Brothers Records, can not only sign an artist, but since they're also owners of Entertainment Weekly, they can also put an artist on the cover by next week. You think you choose what you listen to, but do you? Both BET and MTV belong to Viacom. Okay, now I know that's not news to some, but when the use of these media conglomerates is cross-checked with ownership of the biggest names in prison privatization, it's starting to get a little fishy. The largest holder in Core Civic, formerly Corrections Corp of America, is Vanguard Group Incorporated. Vanguard is the #1 largest holder in both Viacom and Time Warner. Vanguard is also the largest holder in the GEO Group, the second largest owner of private prisons in the US. The overlap in private prison / mass media ownership is disturbing. Let's make this clear. The people who own the media are the same people who own private prisons. The exact same people. They make money from getting so-and-so from the hood to glorify the life they live. And they don't care about the impact it has on others because money is the motive. Then when the music influences others in criminal behavior, they make money from all the impressionable low-income people of color that are expected to go inside their private prisons. You can research these companies yourself, by the way, it's not hidden.
All right, guys, so there's a little bit of a breakdown. That's proof according to who? What is it? .org?
Let's see. hiphopforchange.org.
Okay. So here's one thing about this meeting that was supposed to take place. It's also been alleged that meeting never happened. Okay, so
of course they're going to say it never happened.
We'll talk a little bit more about that. A lot of people say that that's just a full conspiracy and the meeting never ever happened. We'll get into that a little bit more next week. But just to carry on a little bit, check this out. Now, some of you may be wondering how these prisons are profiting from incarceration. I know I was one of those people that was like, well, how are these private prisons making money? Well, according to CBSN, there are multiple ways. Check this out.
State prisons are extending their reach beyond jail cells to make more money off incarcerated people. The number of people incarcerated is going down in the United States, but more inmates means more money, and private prisons are looking to make a profit by providing their own services with almost no oversight by the government.
The most common ways these prisons make money is by charging inmates for phone calls, contracting medical services and food services, transporting prisoners, and charging inmates for basic needs. Earlier, I spoke to Axios reporter Steph Kite about where this trend started and what it means for prisoners.
It all started with the war on drugs when the U.S. started incarcerating increasing numbers of people. And of course, the U.S. still, even with the decline over the past few years, is the most incarcerated nation in the world. And so we really saw a lot of these big companies, these big prison companies, boom alongside the war on drugs. They rose along with the rising incarceration rates in the U.S. And that's where they got their money. As you said, the more people who are in prison, the more spaces are needed, the more services are needed. And while most people are aware of the for-profit prison industry, sometimes they don't realize all of the services that also create profits for companies, like, as you mentioned, phone calls for prisoners, which oftentimes are really expensive, and food services and health care, and even just the everyday toiletries that family members or prisoners would buy from the commissaries, and that also drives a lot of profit. And of course, when you look at the companies that provide those services, that provide clothes and toiletries and these other small items that prisoners can buy, they're not necessarily marking up those prices, but prisoners don't really make any money. And of course, you have to take a step back and recognize that not only is the prison system expensive, but it also, we jail the poor people in the U.S. overwhelmingly. The poorest people in our societies are often the ones who are ending up behind bars.
Yeah, Axios really takes a really deep dive into this. You do an excellent job. Wherever there's a lot of money and wherever politics has a role in it, you get lobbyists. So can you talk a little bit about the influence of lobbyists when it comes to this sort of stuff?
Absolutely. Two of the biggest for-profit companies, GEO Group and CoreCivic, they do spend millions of dollars. Over the past 2 years, they've spent millions of dollars on lobbying efforts. And when I spoke to their spokespeople, they assure us that, they don't lobby to incarcerate more people, but they do lobby for things like reentry programs. And they say they do lobby to explain how their businesses work. Of course, it's interesting to look at, as we've seen this bipartisan rise in interest in reentry and reducing recidivism rates, we've also seen these big companies sort of change their offerings. They're not just offering for-profit prisons. Now they're also getting into reentry programs and ankle bracelets, things that you would use for probation and parole. They're also becoming really large in the immigrant detention industry. Most of the immigrants in detention are being held in for-profit detention centers. So as we're seeing the fall in incarceration rates, that's not the only way that these companies make money.
And there's also been a lot of pushback very, very recently in regards to the bail system, and you guys talk about that as well.
Yeah, the bail system is one of the first ways that the U.S. prison system ends up hurting the most impoverished in our communities. Oftentimes, people are put in jail before they've been convicted of a crime, and they stay there because they can't afford bail, even if it's not a ton of money. If they don't have a couple extra $100 or a couple extra $1,000, then they're not able to post that bail and get out of jail until their court date. And we're seeing over half of the people behind bars are in our jails are there because they can't afford bail, or for some other reason why they can't get out and they haven't been convicted yet. But there have been movements across the nation to end cash bail because it tends to hurt people who just don't have the cash. It's not keeping people behind bars because they might not show up to court or that they've been charged with a serious crime. It's just because they don't have the extra cash to pay, which forces them to either turn to the bail bond system where they can pay a fee and have someone else cover their bail, or oftentimes these people will plead guilty whether or not they are guilty because they can get out on time served or be placed on probation, and at least that way they're not behind bars. They have a better chance of keeping their job and caring for their loved ones.
So I remember reading that shortly after President Trump was elected, there was sort of a spike for private prison companies. There was a spike on Wall Street for them, right? Their stocks went up. But we know that there have been some tweaks in the laws, right? The criminal justice reform sort of legislation that the Trump administration passed, the decriminalization of marijuana and sort of various other drugs that we're seeing a wave across the country. Is that having an impact on the number of people we incarcerate, and how is this sector pushing back or at least responding to it?
Well, one of the reasons we saw stocks rise was because President Obama made some efforts to limit the use of for-profit prisons. And when President Trump came into office, he did away with the efforts that Obama was making. So that's one reason. It was kind of a removal of some of the efforts from the previous administration to curtail the use of for-profit prisons. And another impact is if you look at spending from ICE, federal spending from the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, has risen pretty significantly over the past few years to these for-profit prison companies. And so the rise in immigrants who are in detention centers has also helped boost these companies. And I do think they're obviously, they are a big part of our system. And there was a sense where the government needed these companies at a certain time. They did not have the capacity to hold the number of people that were being incarcerated in the 80s and 90s, and now they're struggling to hold the number of immigrants in detention. So there is a sense in which, sure, the government relies on these companies to provide services, but what most advocates who I've spoken to, most criminal justice reform advocates I've spoken to have said is that they just want more oversight into these companies, more regulation with these companies to ensure the safety of prisoners and migrants in their care.
All really interesting. So many things to sort of touch on when you start to talk about this topic. Steph Kite, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Wow.
Oquindo jumped in there for me, man. That's Oquindo Q. Taylor said, interesting topic. Keep exposing the truth. Mm-hmm. So here's the deal, man. We appreciate it. Normally, we don't do this kind of stuff on the weekly call, but we are giving you a little bit of a prelude as to what Crank Radio is going to be bringing your way. We will be launching Crank Radio at the end of this month, and we'll be doing a lot of stuff just like this. So we do want to get out there and you know, expose that truth a little bit. And once again,
we have, you know, the means to, and you know, sometimes you got to get down to some of these serious issues that are plaguing our community. So it is what it is.
We are an entertainment news podcast, and we are talking about the entertainment business, and this is a really dark side of the entertainment business. And I think, you know, after seeing this, guys, you start looking at this a little bit differently. Yeah, there's definitely an agenda. You know, was I talking to you when I was talking about when Hitler came into power in Germany? The first thing that he took over was the media. That was the first thing he took over. And it's generally the theory is what the eyes see and the ears hear, the mind believes. Yes. And so consequently,
that same thing happened. I believe I want to say it was in Cambodia when they were taking over.
Took over the media.
Yeah, they took over the media. You know, the music changed.
Yeah. You want to take all of that over because that's your big influential means to power. And
they killed many of their doctors.
Yeah.
They killed a lot of the lawyers.
Yeah, but you can use
it was. I'll have to get more on that story. That was interesting.
You can definitely utilize the media to create propaganda, and in a way, that's the same thing that's kind of happening here. So my thing is, as a disclaimer, we want to say it one more time. This is not a show bashing trap artists. This is not a show bashing record labels. This is a show just exposing this hidden agenda that I think we all should be aware of, because a lot of us have children.
Yes.
And we need to just be aware of the agenda. We're going to get deeper into that next week. Everybody that is here tonight, Visionary Speaks.
Visionary Speaks
was
jumped
in the building. Appreciate that. And we appreciate all of you that hung in there with us tonight. You know, we live in the flesh, and this stuff can get a little rough sometimes. But
get a little hairy sometimes.
It doesn't happen to us all the time. But hey, man, we're going to get a couple of these. It is what it is. But we insanely appreciate you. And here's what we're going to do. We're coming back next week. We need all of y'all to tell somebody to come back next week, because we need this chat room blowing up. We want to include you all next week on this discussion. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, I definitely want this to be, you know, one of the most interactive, you know, shows.
Yeah.
Because this is such a deep, heavy topic.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see what other people think about this. And if you guys are already aware of it, if you guys have more information on it, you know, so And how has this impacted you and your family? Yeah, I'm interested to see that, because me personally, you know, with having a kid, I'm always trying to limit, you know, his time listening to trap music, but you know, without fully taking it away, you know, because it's so popular for the kids right now, but kind of got to limit it and keep other things on their mind. But we'll talk about more of that next week. But yeah, I did want to go ahead and say, if you like this video, go ahead and give us a big old thumbs up, guys. And go ahead and subscribe to our channel at The Weekly Call. Also, we'll be live on our own platform. So on theweeklycall.com.
That's right. And then all you got to do is go right up to the top of the screen on theweeklycall.com, and it says The Weekly Call Live. Click that link.
Click the link.
And you are joining us live.
And then you follow the steps to be a part of the chat.
Absolutely.
And that's all included.
Absolutely, Money Mike.
Yeah, Money Mike, we got you. We got you.
Check this out. Also, want to say this to you. If we are live on YouTube, those of you who are on our text messaging list will get, obviously, the link and know that we are on YouTube or we're on our channel. For those of you not our channel, I'm sorry, on our website, on our platform. But for those of you who are not, here's how you'll be able to find out where we are. If you log into YouTube and we're not there that night, obviously when you log into the channel, you'll look for the live, and it would say, we aren't here tonight, we are on our platform, follow the link, and it'll take you there. If you go to our platform and we aren't there, it'll say, tonight we are on YouTube, follow the link. Here's the problem. All of you should be on our text messaging list. How the heck do you get on that list? It's simple. You text CALL, C-A-L-L, to 818-392-8848. Once again, 818-392-8848. And that's just the word CALL, C-A-L-L, short for the Weekly
Call.
Y'all know what it is.
Kizzle.
Y'all hung out with us long tonight, y'all. I was just telling Wendy when I said, man, it's been over an hour, but technically, it's been about an hour based on the time that it took us to get things started. So we really hit the hour.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys.
With us.
And here's what we're going to do on the way out. We got to come back to some of those freaky, funny LOL moments. Some more mothers and grandmothers reacting to WAP. Listen, here's why WAP is important to me and Wendy. Here's why it's important, because we have been following it since the release night.
Before the release night.
Okay.
Before it came out.
Well, I didn't know anything about it until it came out.
You didn't know? I heard about it. I don't know what Griff was doing, but I had already heard that it was coming. I was excited.
For me, WAP represents worship and praise.
See, and that's why he didn't know about it before it came out, because he was
Never heard of it.
And nothing wrong with worship and praise. Hallelujah. Okay.
So look at y'all. We're going to hit y'all with a couple more of those funny moments, and then we're going to take you guys out. God bless you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Be in here next Wednesday.
Get your butt
8
here.
o'clock. Tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody to get in here and join in with this. Hope you guys enjoy this. Shout out again to Futrell. Shout out again to Jeff. Shout out again to Stephen Barry. Shout out again to everybody that made that possible.
Harlem LW,
Shout
Money
out to
Mike,
all of
comedian
you.
visionary
Okay.
Speaks, Q Taylor.
Come on, Q
Shout out
Taylor.
to all our people.
In the building
What up,
tonight.
y'all?
We love you all. Thank you. God bless you. Once again, you're hanging out with your boy, Griffey Griff, the beautiful Miss Wendy Wynn. And Wynn, what have they been watching?
Y'all know
Once
what
again,
it is. You guys are watching a weekly call, baby.
Peace out. See you next Wednesday, y'all.
Peace.
Certified free, 7 days a week. Wet ass pussy, make that pull out game weak.
Who the hell is this singing that?
Extra large and extra hard. Put this pussy bag in your face. Set the nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I wanna ride. I jump right in this lyrical vibe.
That's gross. I hope she shaves. Hope she shaves.
Wet ass pussy, when I'm fucking in a room with this wet ass pussy, give me everything you got. From the top, make it drop. That's some wet. That's some wet. Now get a bucket and a mop. That's some wet. That's some wet. I'm talking wop, wop, wop. That's some wet. That's some wet. Macaroni in a pot. That's some wet. That's some wet. Huh?
Shut the fuck up. Nasty.